want to go to Markwayne Mullin, the Republican Oklahoma senator. And Senator, I'll touch on something that Peter just did, and that is the backdrop today, post the convention, the Democratic convention, markets soaring on the notion that interest rates are coming down next month. Now, I had a market analyst saying that this was politically driven. Do you think a rate cut is politically driven, that it's not necessary, but that it could certainly help Kamala Harris?
Well, I would hope it's not politically driven. It is needed. It's actually probably a year overdue. And I would hope that it wouldn't be politically driven to help Kamala Harris. Remember, she keeps talking, Neil, about what she's going to do on day one and what she's going to try to accomplish. But they can't do anything about the current situation our country's in, because their policy is what put us here. And I kind of laugh when she talks about what she's going to do day one. Because it's not her message that's driving the market. It's the Fed's message about lowering tax rates that's driven the market. Because really, if she was going to do anything, she would already done it. She's had, I think, 1,410 days in office, and she's had a lot of day ones that she could have done something about. So it is kind of questionable why they're doing it now. I'm not arguing that they are doing it because they need to do it, but I would hope it's not political driven, but it sure looks like it.
You know, well, I have you, Senator, and you're famous. You have a good sense of humor, too, and I know you tried to bury the hatchet with the Teamsters president, Sean O'Brien. Yeah. And apparently you have, and he speaks very highly of you. Right. But I remember your back and forth that hearing room, but then I remember Republicans inviting him, which was unprecedented, a Teamsters president talking to a Republican convention. He did not get the same opportunity to do so before the Democrats at their convention. What did you think of that?
Well, Neil, Sean and I actually talked a couple times this week. And by the way, I haven't had time to thank you. You were actually instrumental on part of that, too. Plus, President Trump actually called me personally and called Sean and said, hey, I'd love you two to meet. I think you guys would get along. And, you know, he's correct. We actually do get along. But well,
you're both good guys. You know what? You're both good guys. Yep. Cory, you're a good guy. You're a very, honest broker. It is a different sense he is when it comes to labor thing. But yep. I did want to get your sense of how Democrats treated him, regardless of your personal views. I just what you made of that.
You know, what I was saying is that I actually called him and I said, hey, man, I'm sorry that you're going through this, because he told me he's a Democrat and a Democrat for life. Right. And his message he gave at the RNC was kind of something you don't typically hear at a Republican convention. But I commended him for doing it. But he said, look, he said, I get what this is. And these were his words. He says, if I'm getting demonized for standing up for my Teamsters, then so be it, because we polled inside our own Teamsters, and 89% of the Teamsters support what I did here, because we're blue collar workers. We want to just go to work. We don't all this woke stuff, all this DEI stuff. He says that's not what my Teamsters believe in. We believe in just going to work and having fair wages and doing a good job. And I was like, you know what? That's what America is about. That's what we really are about. So regardless of our political differences, we do agree in a strong middle class and fair wages for people moving forward, and the ability to fight for that. And we go at it different, but we have the same ideas. We just have a different direction on how to get there. But Sean and I can agree to disagree on some things, but it's unfair what the Democrat Party is doing to him as the president of the Teamsters. I mean, the Teamsters have been there for him for day one. Right. Not him, but the Democrat Party from day one, and they just abandoned him.
You know, it's interesting. In our discussions I've had, not only with you in the past and obviously with him, union leaders typically of any prominent union have supported Democrats. Not all the time, most of the time. In the case of Ronald Reagan, that veered in '84 and again in '88 when it was George H.W. Running. But it's the members who typically will vote much greater numbers for Republicans. Donald Trump is optimistic no matter who union leaders are recommending. It's the union members who will end up voting for him, for Republicans in general. What do you make of that?
Well, I agree. Listen, my wife and I, we make our living with plumbing, HVAC, and electrical companies all over the country, right? This is what we did. I was a plumber before I got into office and an entrepreneur. The type of workers that are working in the fields doing that work is the same type of workers that are driving these trucks and the other Teamster members out there. They do believe in freedom. They do believe in the ability to just go up and make something of yourself. And right now, the Democrat have left them. It's kind of like my granddad told me. He said, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. And that's where the working class used to be. The working class now belongs to the Republican Party. You see the billionaires and these radical leftists and the socialist parties of Bernie Sanders and AOC that's leading the Democrat Party now. Kamala can call herself whatever she wants. Her record is exactly what she is. She was the most liberal senator when she was in office, and she's championing the most liberal policies underneath the Biden-Harris administration. Your actions speak louder than your words, and the people out there in the streets doing the work, like the Teamsters, like the plumbers, the HVAC, and the electrical workers out there every single day, they can see right through false words.
Well, you speak your mind, Senator. I always give you that. I'm actually afraid of both of you guys because I'm a wimp. But I mean, it was very good seeing you and very good talking to him.
Yeah.
Be well,
thank
Senator.
You. Sean, like I said, Sean's a good guy, and Neil, you'd fit in right with both of us.
Well, we go to the same restaurant. I would pick up the tab on that one because I'd be afraid of having you pay for it. But always good seeing you, Senator. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.